For years now, Elon Musk has been working at SpaceX to achieve one goal: to build a safe-sustaining city on Mars. We all know that building a city is not easy. Now imagine building a city on another planet. How much do you think it requires? One thing we know for sure is that he needs some high-tech rockets, and the engines powering these rockets have to be more advanced than the rockets themselves. Hence, the Raptor engines. This is the most advanced rocket ever made by humanity. Imagine building a rocket engine that's like a car engine in that you can turn it on or off whenever you want, with the comfort of knowing that it won't blow up. But building something so sophisticated to take you to another planet is not an easy task. But Elon Musk just found a way to produce hundreds in the shortest time ever. So how does he do it? Hello, and welcome back to Tech Elon Musk, where we discuss Elon Musk news, Tesla news, SpaceX news, and much more news about Elon Musk. In today's video, we're going to have a look at how Elon Musk produces the Raptor engines so fast. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to never miss out on new videos. So, how is SpaceX building those rocket engines so fast? In the words of Elon Musk, it's probably a factor of 10 harder to design a manufacturing system for a rocket than to design the rocket. This is completely true for the rocket engine. However, even with all this complexity, Elon Musk still went ahead to tweet that the production of the Raptor engines is headed to one Raptor engine every 48 hours. This means that in a week they'll have 3.5 cutting-edge Raptor engines. In the long run, this means a Starship can launch every 64 days. However, this is if they use 32 Raptor engines per booster. Considering that Musk wants to put 1 million people on Mars by 2050, this doesn't sound very fast. With each Starship, 100 people are transported to Mars. One advantage that SpaceX has is that they're designing the engines to be reusable. Starships are said to have a lifespan of 20 to 30 years. The general idea of colonizing Mars is to launch huge numbers of Starships every 2 years. This is because every 2 years, Earth and Mars are closer to each other in terms of orbit. If SpaceX wants to achieve this, then they have to build enough Starships and get them ready for a giant, synchronized launch. Once they do this, they'll be on their way to achieving their goal faster. However, even with all these plans, the main question is, will they meet the timeline that they promised people? It's been well over 10 years since the first Raptor engines began production. Getting to a point where they produce a new Raptor engine every 48 hours is something to marvel about. So far, we can say that there is great hope of Raptor engines actually being successful. But why is this? Well, in May 2021, a Starship prototype was launched and reached an altitude of 10 kilometers. During the test, the Raptor engines were switched off one by one so they could fall back to Earth. As it was falling, it was flipped from a horizontal position to a vertical position by igniting 2 of the 3 Raptor engines being used by the prototype. This was the first successful landing of the Starship prototype. SpaceX's obsession with process is the main key to the production of the Raptor engines moving quickly. The world's greatest engineers come together and make every step of the manufacturing process fully optimized. About 10 years ago, SpaceX was making proper use of the 3D printers as they were making them print tubes. All you had to do was specify the shape of the tube, and no matter how complicated it was, the machine would replicate it over and over without any errors. As a matter of fact, most, though not all, of Raptor engines' components are 3D printed. Something that helps SpaceX progress so fast is its mentality. Instead of seeing failures as a bad thing, they view failure as an opportunity to learn. However, to work with such a philosophy requires a flexible manufacturing process. 3D printers are the best choice of machinery to work with. This is because if you need to make any changes to the design, then you just do so in the input and the printer will continue working without causing any huge delays in the assembly line. If it were not for 3D printers, adding something new or changing the design of a component would take days or even weeks. But the idea could be put into practice. This is an added advantage because the Raptor engine is still in development. Another advantage of 3D printing is that it works faster than any human does. It can also run 24 hours a day. If SpaceX could use 3D printing on most of their parts, the process of making them would be faster and more efficient. What keeps SpaceX ahead of other companies is their teamwork when it comes to solving issues in the best way possible. When you think about Elon Musk's philosophy, you get the thought that if it was possible to claw back from 0.01% of efficiency in any way, then be sure that it would be done. A perfect example is the fact that most of the Raptor engines are built by SpaceX themselves. SpaceX always tries to integrate as many processes as they can internally, with outsourcing being as little as possible. With time, these small parts are the ones put together to create a marvel of a machine together with its improvement. As much as the process is that smooth, there's still one limit. You have to test the Raptor engine. The first has to be moved to the test facility, then later onto the launch site. There's a high possibility that in the end, SpaceX will have all these locations right next to each other. Considering how well funded the Starship project is, it's helped boost the rapid production time. At the moment, they've raised $7.5 billion, and I'm sure that if they wanted more, it wouldn't be too hard to raise it. Starlink, another SpaceX project, will definitely bag them a couple of $1 billion extra. And that's before they start launching the Starlink satellites using Starship. The Falcon X rocket can launch about 60 Starlink satellites into orbit, while the Starship and the Super Heavy are said to launch about 400 satellites in one launch. This plays a huge role in reducing the launching cost while ensuring faster growth of the constellation and network. This means that whatever needs to be done at SpaceX can be done with ease. In the summer of 2019, Starship technicians changed their schedule and introduced a 24-hour round-the-clock schedule with 4 daily shifts. What this means is that the shifts overlap with the ones before and after. This ensures that there's constant communication with no loss of information and no time delays between the teams. Those of you working on the same schedule but with 3 daily shifts know how easy it is to blame the previous shift or leave the hard task for the next shift. But with overlapping shifts, there's no such thing. If the next team comes an hour before you're supposed to clock out, be sure they'll be watching you, and you can't just leave the hard task to them. This ensures that the 4 teams become synchronized into one big machine, ultimately increasing the speed and efficiency of production. There's a possibility that the production rate is where SpaceX wanted it to be. With the design of the Raptor engines becoming more stable, SpaceX can start mass production. If you compare the rate of production now with 5 years ago, there's been a significant change. It's faster and better. As SpaceX performs more and more successful test flights using the Raptor engines, so will the production begin. There is also no point in producing a lot of engines and just keeping them there. The final goal for SpaceX is to produce a Raptor engine every 12 hours. However, before that can happen, they have to make sure the design is finalized and there'll be no more changes. SpaceX wants to always have enough engines for their testing schedule. For them, it is better to produce more engines than required. When it comes to production, if the assembly lines ran 24/7, there would be no delays of any kind. The Super Heavy is becoming the main project on SpaceX's timeline, as each one requires about 29 Raptor engines. However, this is supposed to be increased to 32 Raptor engines. The Super Heavy will eventually be reusable, though not the first few ones. This is because of the test flight's crash landings, or the engines not being in good condition to handle lots of launches. In the end, production will have to be increased to handle future test flights. This means that we're slowly, but rapidly approaching putting humans on Mars. It may happen sooner than expected. So, what do you think of the Raptor engine's production? Which part of the production is your favorite? Let us know in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel to never miss out on updates about Elon Musk. Thank you for watching and see you next time.